It says it's live on Facebook.
Yes. We let it populate because Jerome got to give his famous words of encouragement. He make it sound better though. Hey, I tagged you in since I put it on my page, Jerome.
I don't know.
So go ahead and do your thing. I know how you do.
You tagged me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
2, 3-headed monster. 3-headed, 3. I don't know what's up with my phone today, man. I can't get it. I'm trying to get Tut. Tut keep hitting me back.
That's the guy that was on the last time. Is that the guy that was on the last time?
Yeah. Tut is the other third. Yeah. Tut's the other
3-headed.
3-headed.
Dragon, monster, what are y'all?
3-headed monster.
Monster. Oh.
Wait, dragon?
I know.
No, we balance each other out. It's like an even balance on how we are and the things that we do. I just love us how we do. We bounce off each other.
Good.
So, but at the same time, we like the Bulls. You got a Rodman, you got a Jordan, and then you got a Pippen. Anyone plays their part whenever it comes through. So.
Okay. That's good.
Go ahead and do your thing, Jerome.
All right. Okay, there we go. I was looking for it.
You got it? Your thing, Jerome.
Uh-oh, let me turn it down. On it. Echoing back. Okay. So we live.
Look at how his face is. Man, I need to work on my camera game.
Yeah. Lightens everything.
Yes, it is.
So once again, we're back on, family. Thank everybody for tuning in. Share this with everybody that you can. We have 2 very special guests back on. But as always, I want everybody to know that everything that we say, everything that we speak upon is strictly our opinions. Don't believe anything that we say. Don't believe anything that I tell you. You know, research it for yourself. Once you find the truth, come back. Let's build. Let's talk about it. And let's go further. This is always about edification of our people, edification of our community, edification of the world. Well, I don't know why B keeps disappearing on me, but but once again, we're going to talk about social injustice, and we brought 2 lovely people in to share their perspectives on social injustice and their viewpoints. What's up, B?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, y'all?
Oh, you're looking very lit.
So what's it?
Everybody goes to get a light.
It's funny. My son just asked me a question as you talking to me. I'm sorry, y'all. Dude, get the step, man. What's up? I'm sorry, y'all.
Being live.
We had a monster podcast that we're doing. Today, we're just going to jump in and we're going to get the women's take on how they feel about the social injustice here in the United States, which is very interesting because we want to get everybody's viewpoint. We don't want it to be a male-dominated viewpoint. We really want to get some intelligent people. You just speak your mind, to be honest. So, you know, hopefully we get our other head in, which is Tut. Tut, you know, he normally do his thing on Friday. So, what's going on, Necole?
Hey, how are you?
You good? Can you see me? Can you see me?
I can see you.
And then we also got Tracy back on today.
What's going on? Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, you know what? I am jealous on that lighting.
Listening.
See, right? Right. Tracy was outshining me. I'm telling you, I was like, wait a minute.
So I came on a little earlier today because these, beautiful queens have other things they have to do today. So for them to get a chance for us not to really rush off. So we rather start at 7 o'clock today versus our 8 o'clock show because Tracy she wants to stay on a little bit longer.
I do.
I'm sorry. And plus she has a radio show that she also has. Promote your radio show, Tracy.
Okay. You can find it if you're wondering where can I find it. You can find it in the App Store or Google Play, and just search for Tracy's World. Tracy's World, TRACYS World, WORLD. Tracy's World, in the App Store or Google Play. Download it. Accept the notification so you can know when I'm live. I'm live Monday through Friday, for the most part, unless I have to not do a show for some reason. But then if so, I'll send out a notification saying that the show was canceled. But it's Monday through Friday, typically at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Sundays around noon. I do my gospel show on Sundays around noon.
It is. So, question. How do you view, because of all the things that's going on in today's America, well, I'm not going to say America, I'm going to say United States, the social injustice, how do you feel? Because I know y'all have children. Tracy, you have 2 daughters and a son, and then Nicole has 2 beautiful queens. Well, all y'all have queens, and and I know you have I don't know how old your son is, Tracy.
He's 14.
So
son and daughter 14.
How it feels for you to be a mother during this time, just the way the climate of this country is and how the racial tension is growing. Well, it was already here. It's just the fact is nobody's hiding it no more. And I want to know how you feel about this, and what would you think would do to make this place, what can you say to your children? How about we say?
And it's since my son doesn't watch the news, and he's mostly, especially over the summer, just in his video games. So he didn't know like what was going on. So he had made a joke one night about going for a run around the neighborhood. And it caught me and my other 2 daughters, we had to, no, you can't go for a run at night. This was right after Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. And so he kind of like laughed and was like, why? So my oldest daughter really got upset with him and was trying to explain to him why. 1, it's not funny. And 2, this is really serious that's going on. I said, it's a shame and it's very sad that you can't just do that. You can't just go for a run, or you can't just walk around the neighborhood, because since they don't go outside that often, they're not seen. So people may see him like, why is this kid in our neighborhood? Because most of the people that's in our neighborhood, I actually haven't seen any African Americans. There are some my color, but they're a little darker, Indians, some other races, but I hadn't seen any like me. And it's like, you can't just do that. And this is why. I know you don't watch the news. I know you're not on social media. You don't know what's really going on, but this is what's really going on. And you have to be careful. So I found myself, all along thinking prior to that, well, they're young. They don't really need to know what's going on right now. But in that moment, I felt the need to really go into the racial injustices, go into, being a young Black man in society right now. And he still was kind of like smirking a little and not really getting it. And once he saw how passionate my oldest daughter was, he was like, okay, I won't. It's so he's like, calm down, y'all. Like, what's the big deal? But it's like, I'm praying that he will eventually like get it and it will click and he will understand it before, he get out. What were you about to say, Necole?
Did he see the George Floyd video?
I don't know if he's seen it. And like I say sometimes I feel I failed as a parent because he should see those things.
No,
but
never say that.
I'm be honest with you, I've never watched the video.
I've seen it. So
when I saw the beginning of it, yeah, no, I'm not watching that. And I heard that it was that. I remember the beginning because I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm not gonna watch that. And then it just went up, and I was like, and that's why I didn't watch it.
I have with videos since then. I would see how it started. I'm like, I don't want to see another young black man or another young man or not another black man, whether or not he's young or old, getting shot. I don't want to see it again. It's terrifying. And what people don't understand is this can really lead to post-traumatic stress. And I kind of went back and forth with someone that I went to school with, and she's Caucasian. And we kind of went back and forth because she wasn't really understanding. And what people don't understand is this, how we've been oppressed and how we've been treated all these years, even starting with being a young child growing up. And then it's like things that we see, things that we have to do, the mentality that we have, it all comes from growing up. It's not like, some people just want to be out there in the streets and robbing or killing or, doing a bunch of other things. But it goes deeper than what people see on the surface. And that's what a lot of people don't understand and don't get. It's not just, oh, he's just a bad person. Why is he a bad person? Why is he doing what he's doing? What steps from growing up that he saw or that he was around, that experienced, what led him to where he is today? And it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
And the funny thing about it is being stationed in North Dakota.
Who
was stationed in North Dakota?
Where you were?
No, in the Air Force. Air Force, North Dakota.
Wow. How was that growing up? How long were you there?
How long were you there? Right.
I was there 2.5 years. That was enough. That's enough to make you, I did 3 years. It was enough to make you really, really, I tell you what, I didn't like white people when I came back. When I came home.
Really?
Oh.
My experience in North Dakota was, it literally brought out a lot of hatred.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
And what was that for you, Tracy?
It was not that. I didn't go off base much. Okay. And when I did, we may have gone to Winnipeg, we may have gone to Minneapolis. I think I went to Fargo maybe once or twice, but for the most part, or like Walmart or whatever we had to go to off base, but I didn't interact a lot with other people except on the base. And the ones that I interacted with on the base, to me, Grand Forks, North Dakota was my best base.
Really?
I had the most fun. I had the most fun. And I'm thinking it was because since it wasn't a lot of us there, we were like family. So somebody always had something going on. There was always a cookout, a house party, going to the NCO club.
Did you have children there at the time?
No. Well, I was pregnant with Kiera. Let's see, I had her in 96. So I was there from 95 to 98. So yeah, she was like 2 when I left.
Okay.
But it was, I had, I had a great time.
On base, yes. Off base, yeah, we had some problems. We had a lot of problems.
Brian, where did you grow up?
Oh, Gaffney, South Carolina. I'm a country boy.
How did you get to Philadelphia?
How did I get the job?
Okay.
What I did in the Air Force. So it that trade does help. So it's I do tell people I wouldn't mind. I mean, join the military if you ain't got nothing going for yourself. But I'm gonna say join either the Navy or the Air Force.
Go Air Force.
And the only reason why I say that, like I said, if you ain't got nothing else, and you want to try something for 4 years, go for it. I mean, Jerome is Navy. Go ahead, Jerome.
Go Air Force. Go ahead, Jerome.
but I mean, it's like I said, for me, it was just, being a 18, 19-year-old, you want to go out, you want to go do this, and then you just happen to get in places that some people just didn't like you. On base, like I said, it's family. Everybody's together. If you knew somebody knew who you were,
you're fine.
Bring it in. It's like family. But we went everywhere as a group. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Don't go nowhere by yourself. That's one thing you don't do. Go anywhere by yourself. That's how it was. Never go nowhere in North Dakota. Nowhere by yourself because you never know what you're going to encounter. Mm-hmm. So, and I was there from 94 through 96.
Okay.
It was interesting, like I said, but at the same time, though, it's like you saying, my son, my teenager, he wants to go walk and run, and it's like I time him. I literally time him because I'm like, I know how long it takes him to get, and if something ain't, I'm in my car and I'm looking for him. That's how toxic this country has made everything be. That I have to be in that mindset at all times. And I hate to be that way. I hate it. But, I have to be a protector. I have to look out for them. And I want the best for my boys. I want the best for all my kids, my girls too. But, yeah, I do. I don't know why, but I mean, at the same time, I'm in a nice neighborhood, but at the same time, you just have that one person that just ruined it for everybody.
That's true. So, they said one bad apple spoils the bunch.
So what's your thought process on it, Necole?
So I grew up in Bucks County. Well, I was born in Brooklyn. So I had the best of both worlds, with Brooklyn and Bucks County, right? Because I went to school in Bucks County. So Brooklyn, I remember my mom said when I first moved down to Bucks County, and I went to school in the Chamonix district, an area of Bucks County. I was coloring the people. When you're doing colors, I was making them brown. And so the teacher said, why is your daughter making, why is she coloring the people brown? It was because that's all I saw in New York, right, when I first moved to Bucks County. But then I went to school, and obviously Bucks County is predominantly white. And then I kind of evolved and kind of saw the difference. First I was called the N-word, was in Bucks County. Yeah. And so, and I remember it on the school bus. I remember the kid calling me that. But as for the social injustice going on right now, so for my daughters, I think I've raised a militant child. She's real, and I get it. As she said, and as her friend said, in Bucks County, they were like, "Yo, coming to your house is like a museum." Because, but that happened, and it's funny because it happened over time, right? Because I went to school in Bucks County, and I hung out predominantly with white people, and my mother sent me to HBCU, I which I love, Morgan State University. I didn't want to go there initially because I was kind of angry with the Black people because of how I was treated in Bucks County.
Wow.
It was like, no, you need to go to a Black school because you have lost your identity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I went, and I will tell you that that was the best move in my life. Morgan has created the woman that I am today, and I have sisters and brothers because of Morgan State. So I found my identity in Morgan.
Wow.
From there, hey King,
Being tight.
Right in the house.
He made it.
Peace. How y'all doing?
He made
Good.
it.
How are you? So anyway, I end up in Morgan, and that's where I found my identity, and that's when I would be. But the funny thing is, even when I was in school at Bucks County, I ended up being, that's where I started becoming a Hebrew Israelite, because my mother brought me into that world. But that's neither here nor there. But still, I had my children, and I raised them to understand Black consciousness. Speed up to today, the world today. The world today is a mess from all perspectives. What I've noticed, and for me, I get to understand both worlds, I guess, in a sense, because I have friends that are Republicans, white Republicans, and I like to hear their point of view and understand what do they see. And then, of course, I have my Black brothers and sisters and understanding the struggles that we go through every day. So it is it's chaotic, but my daughter is very, very militant and very upset about what's going on in the world. Not saying that I'm not, but very angry right now. That's my youngest daughter. My oldest daughter, she just wants to go to work and go home. But I do worry because she's 2 hours from me. I live in North Carolina, and she's 2 hours from where I am. And I'm like, babe, we're in the South. And because I did end up bringing my children back to Bucks County, going to school in Bucks County. And I can see that where my oldest daughter, my baby girl, the militant one, where she's not playing when it comes down to discrimination and oh, you mistreat me because I'm Black. They're like, racist. Like, she's immediately, I see you. Like, calm down. And my other daughter is where I was going off to Morgan because she understood how to ride that wave with white people, right? She understands how to kind of ride the wave and be in the middle of that wave and just be, I'm cool. I just want to go to work and go home. So I have to kind of say to my oldest daughter, like, babe, we down south. It's a little different down here. And I need you to go home. It's dark. Like, where are you? You can't be on the back roads.
Right.
Especially down here. And call me. Matter of fact, we'll just talk until you get home. Because it's a little different than it is up north. Not saying that they're more racist. I'm not saying the racism is different. You have racism everywhere, but I just get nervous a little bit more, and I guess because of the history of the South.
That history is true. That history is true.
Right. I get a little nervous. And she
actually,
my oldest daughter who sent me the video of the young man who got shot 7 times in the back. And I'm like, no. I was like, are you sure they were bullets? I was like, why would they shoot him so close? That makes no sense. What's going on? That was my initial thought, because I was really like, wait. What just happened? She was like, Mommy, look, Ma. I'm like, no. But then, obviously, I was like, but if they shot him that close, he would be dead. Maybe.
Grace of God, girl. Grace of God.
It was the grace. It was the grace of God. And I just didn't understand. I was like, well, and I don't understand why you would shoot him. And I do have friends who are police officers in Bucks County who are white. And they're upset because of how we feel about that situation. I'm like, I don't understand how you can see one thing and I can see something totally different.
Right.
For me right now, I think that's where I'm like, how
can you not see that this is wrong? Like, how, like, Like, why are we still arguing about this? Why are we still debating this? Why are we still discussing this?
Right.
Like,
there was so many other ways to address the behavior of him walking away. You thought shooting him 7 times was, and you're trying to justify it?
right. But that's the thing. They try to justify everything that they do that shouldn't be done. And when I say they, I'm not even just talking about, you know, the police. I'm talking about
A bunch of people.
Every other person that don't believe that Black Lives Matter. My thing is, and so I say this to all people who say, well, all lives matter. I said, all lives can't matter. Until Black lives matter, all lives can't matter. Right. So you saying all lives matter is not a true statement, because our life obviously don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Like, yeah. So from
stop
George
saying
Floyd,
all lives matter, because
from George Floyd to Breonna Taylor to Ahmaud Arbery. Let's go back. Trayvon Martin. Let's go back. Yes. Sean Bell. Let's go back. Right? Like, Sean Bell was in his car, and Tamir Rice. He was in his car. This is like, he's in his car celebrating his about to get married. Like, how you shoot up his car 50 some odd times? He had nothing. Like, wait, what? It's
like we're a threat for no reason. We're a threat just because of our color.
Right.
Yeah, Black men,
they're threatened.
Right.
Y'all bigger threat.
Huh?
Y'all a bigger threat, because you're to them, they seem like you're more educated than we are. Not saying that we're not educated, but I'm saying, and to certain people's perspective, Black women are more educated than Black men. Trust me, I ask these questions at work. I just want to hear what they got to say.
Why are they not a part of this conversation? Because I would love to hear what other people, like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Go ahead, Jerome. You want to jump in?
No. I said, let's let Tut get in.
Tut, come on, Tut. Talk to us.
Listen to the conversation and the impact that is felt, you know, witnessing these traumatic events, as far as seeing brothers getting killed, and as far as seeing the reaction from other races of people. What I do want to ask you ladies, if you don't mind, I would like to ask y'all this question. Okay, when in a situation and you're present while someone is being mistreated by police, what would be your reaction in that moment? Okay, for example, let's say you're right there, and a guy's being apprehended by the police, and the crowd and everyone is saying, you know, how he didn't do nothing, this and that. What would be your reaction, or what would you ladies do in that situation? Because like being that now it's the technology age where everybody pull out their camera first. What would you ladies do in a situation like that to assist a brother in a situation like that?
You know, when George Floyd happened, and I heard, and I was reading, you know, comments and saying, you know, why you didn't do this, or why you didn't do that, or why you, and I actually thought, what would I do in that situation? Would I push the cop and then get shot? Probably. Would I move his knee? Would I, you know, plead with the cop like that one guy was trying to do, and to no avail? What would I do? And I honestly don't know what I would do. And I think until you're in that situation, you don't, I don't know until I'm gonna speak for myself. Until I'm in that situation, I don't know. I don't know if fear would take over and prevent me from doing anything but capturing it, or I don't know if something would rise up in me and some kind of courage would rise up in me to actually, you know, try to prevent the cop from doing what he's doing. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do in that situation.
I agree. I can't say what I would do in the moment unless I was actually in that situation. I am a protector. That's my nature, right? So if it's an individual that I know, I probably would end up in jail somewhere. If it's somebody that I know, because in my mind, I'm gonna go to jail and you got me, you're gonna come get me out. That's just who I am. That's my nature, right? To protect the people that I love, with somebody that's in my circle. When that situation is going down, I don't know. I think the first thing is to grab, you know, your cell phone and your cell phone, and make sure it's recorded so that you could be aware. It could be aware. The sister who pulled out her camera when her fiance got killed, what's his name? Fernando Castillo?
Yeah, Fernando Castillo.
I really feel like she was brave. Like, in the middle of, it was literally her man got shot, and she had the wherewithal to pull out her phone and begin recording immediately. I don't know if I could have been able to do that. Because I probably, me and Philando probably would have got shot that day.
The reason why I asked that question is because being in that situation, you know, like you ladies both state, it's hard to say what you would do. And the reason why I asked that question is, I think there needs to be some kind of protocol that we as a people have addressing a situation like that, because most of the time, like you both ladies both stated, you're in that moment, and you know the clarity of thinking can be kind of clouded because it's a traumatic situation.
So I like where you're going, but I guess in a relationship with a person, like in a relationship, I guess we have to make that clear, right? Because you got to understand, and this is just me speaking, right? I'm a very strong individual, and I could speak up for myself, and I could stand up for myself, right? But we also have to play that role for that Black man, that we not trying to overtake the Black man and take charge. This is where I'm at, right? So it needs to be a conversation prior to that happening, that you, babe, you good? If you need to step up, you can step up, because we don't. You got to understand too, as a Black woman, we hear this thing where we don't want to make the Black man feel less than. We don't want you to feel like we're taking over the situation. You're the man, handle your business. I got you, babe. Boom, 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 boom. Right? because we've heard or know that the Black woman is always so strong, she's trying to demasculate the Black man. Ain't nobody trying to demasculate the Black man, but I got a voice. And if it's wrong, I'm gonna speak up. But then we got to talk about, how do you want me to handle this situation if this situation happen? Because I want to make sure that I'm not demasculating the situation.
I mean, and I agree, and I understand your point of view there. And definitely, when you're being addressed by police and put in handcuffs, trust me, the last thing we thinking about is being demasculated. But a suggestion that I'm having is we should create a protocol so that not only women, along with men, should have a certain statutes that they can do that's not breaking any laws, that's, you know, not going to get them in further trouble. It has to be something that we have to come up with as a people, addressing a situation like that. So when somebody's being apprehended incorrectly, we're getting phones out, we're getting badge names of officers. There should be things that we're doing, protocols that we should be taking to protect the person who's being apprehended incorrectly. Because if we don't create some kind of protocol to handle this, all we're going to get is just videos of people getting killed more. So if we don't address this with some kind of protocol to be able to step in and mediate between officers, I know a lot of times when somebody is being apprehended, the outsider may not know the situation of everything, but we can definitely tell when somebody is being mistreated by police officers and when they're being apprehended incorrectly.
So how do we?
I mean, like I say,
I know this is only our opinion, but I guess my question is, what does that look like? I could tell you, I could give, and I'm asking gentlemen, what does that look like? So I could tell you an experience that I had when I moved to North Carolina 10 years ago. I was going on a date with a gentleman, and we were in an area called Pineville, North Carolina. Pineville, North Carolina is not a predominantly black area.
What are you talking about?
But it's obviously predominantly white. Long story short, we were in a parking lot, and he was waiting for his friend to get off work, and we were going to go to the pool room that was down the street. So we were sitting in the car, waiting for the parking lot, and when his friend came out, we were in a white car. He said, "Okay, he's out. We're going to go over to the pool room." Okay. So we took off behind the guy, his friend, to go to the pool room, which was literally in the next shopping center. And when we came into the in-between of the parking lot, we got ambushed by police. Like, they came from everywhere. I've never seen this in my life. They came from everywhere. Like, zoom. Just like, what the heck? And it was like, and they guns up, put your hands up, and jumped out the car, sliding across the car. I was like, what is going on? Put your hand. And so he was like, what's going on? Now remember, this is a date, right? So he's trying to impress me. And I remember he was like, what's going on? He had his hands on the wheel. And I put my hands up real quick. I was like, put your hands up. He was like, so he puts his hands up. And so everybody was screaming at the car. Put your hands up, get out the car. Put your hands up, get out the car. There was a lot of direction that was happening all at one time. And I said, put your hands up. And so they was like, get out the car. And so he went to go reach for the door. And I said, do not move your hands, because that guy right there is ready to shoot. Like, I was looking at the guy who was leaning on his car, like, go ahead and move, because I'm about to light your asses up. And I was like, don't move your hands, because that guy right there is ready to shoot. He's like, but they said, open the door, let them, and I'm talking to him, let them open the door. Let them open the door, don't move, right? So he's like, all right, so now we're all sitting here in the car with our hands up, and the cops opened the door, and when they opened the door, we came out, and when we came out, a girl came running from nowhere and was like, that's the wrong car. That's the wrong car. It's not them. At this point, this was a white lady. She's like, that's the wrong car. It's not them. It's not them. And now the police are like, back up, back up, back up. And I'm standing there like, what is going on? Why is this all happening? So screaming, screaming, screaming. Come to find out, somebody robbed the store in the parking lot that we were sitting in. Right? And they said that we were in a white, the people that robbed the car was in a white car. Well, we happened to be sitting in a white car. And I'm a tomboy, so I had my baseball cap on, right? Because I wear hats. And he was in the car, so they assumed that it was two males in the car. And when I got out the car, they realized I was a female. And they were like, no, 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 no. That's a girl and a guy. It's not them. And the cops were like, they were trying to figure out who we were. Obviously, we weren't the suspects, and they walked away. And I remember the crazy guy, because I kept my eye on the crazy guy with the gun. He was like, it looked like he wanted to shoot somebody that day. Like, he was mad because he couldn't shoot us that day, right? So he put his gun. I'm looking at him, and I was like, yo, that dude is nuts. Now, this is about 10 years ago, right? So I'm like, what the hell? But he put it, and everybody was like, all right, you good to go, because you weren't the suspect. Obviously, it was two males, you're a female, as a male, you could go. You had some guys that was nice, and then you had the crazy guy that wanted to shoot everybody. And so we was able to go. But I guess my question is, what does that look like? What does that look like to have that conversation and say, this is the protocol that we should follow if this is to happen? That's my question.
All right, Tut, you on the spot, Tut.
I didn't get it again. I'm sorry.
Tut was talking.
Right.
Tut at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, work. Yeah, work showing all
Tut at work laughing
here
and we
like,
sit here thinking he listening. Come on, Tut.
I apologize. I was having a conversation and I had to discuss some things. Well, what was the question again? I was listening to your ordeal of being in a situation and they accused you.
What was that protocol? What does the protocol look like? Because you said there should be a protocol. What is that protocol and what does it look like? And then how do we communicate that amongst us?
Right. So there should like I would my ideal would say it would be like some statutes that we can follow, like certain criteria. Okay, somebody's filming, somebody's getting badge numbers from cops, somebody's trying to diffuse the situation and be a mediator. There's certain things, because often when somebody's being apprehended, there's always, there's gonna be a crowd of people that come out. If they're doing it in the neighborhood, people gonna come out their house. They're doing it in a area, people gonna stop what they're doing, be nosy, so there should be a protocol to where people can come to a situation and make sure all of these checkpoints are being covered, make sure somebody's filming, making sure somebody's getting badge numbers, making sure somebody's trying to diffuse the situation and speak to the cops, because like being in that situation, the person that is happening to, they don't have time to think, they're not thinking about anything. So they need all the help that they can get. And people having that awareness and being able to have like a protocol or a curriculum or checklist that they can go through, making sure all parameters are being covered so that we could get this police brutality reduced some. And it's got to be from our own actions, because obviously they're not doing anything. So it's gonna have to be something we as a society have to do.
Do you believe, and I'm just asking, do you believe that the black woman could come in and have a conversation with a white cop to calm them down? I'm asking.
A group of people can. Not one person individually. I don't think that can do much. Even though I was apprehended one time before, and a young lady did step in. They had me handcuffed. Cynthia Peeler, I love you to death. She stepped in. And she spoke to the cops, and they was trying to mace me in the face, like they had the mace in my face, ready to mace me. And now, mind you, I'm not resisting or anything. And she stepped in and she spoke to the cops, and they were able to reason with her a lot more than me, because of course I'm hostile. And so they was able to reason with her, gain some logic to the situation, and then I was released. But it could have went a lot worse had it not been for her.
That's funny you say that, because I was in a car recently and with a Hispanic guy, but he was born in America, and we got pulled over. And what I found interesting with that pullover is that I had a normal conversation with the cop. But then when he pulled my friend out of the car, he asked my friend, could he pat him down and do all kind of stuff. And I was just like, wow, wow. He totally treated him different than he treated the whole time.
Right. And so they have a lot more aggression towards us men, because they know we're upset. Right. They know they're treating us wrong, and so our rights are being totally violated. But having the presence of women, having the presence, in the past here, we have seen police still shoot guys with the women in front of them, which I can't explain that, but I can say that having a female or having somebody there to help speak to the police, try to diffuse the situation, gain a better understanding of the situation, it can help alleviate some of that frustration from the police and from the person being apprehended.
I hear you.
That's deep. Jerome, jump in, man.
I was listening, getting all the takes. I think for a protocol to start, I think education on the law, education on what we can do as citizens in that situation. And the ability to communicate with the officers that they know that citizens have the right to whatever it is in this protocol. I think, but educating ourselves is number one. Educating ourselves is key. Just like the situation when they were in the car, you know, they were operating in just fear. Keep your hands up, don't move. You know, there was no protocol to that. You know, it was just, so learning what to do should make the cops more comfortable too in the situation. You know, when everybody's educated.
I mean, I don't know. I'm watching the situations that's happening with the police officers, and I don't like what I've seen, but I also believe that a lot of police officers are afraid, and their fear is the reaction of gun violence, and then they're protected by their brothers of the police officer. I believe if you are that afraid of other people, you shouldn't be a cop.
You're in the wrong job.
You're in the wrong job. But I believe a lot of people are. I believe a lot of this is a reaction of fear. They might, but and the media is not, when I was looking at the media, they like to show a lot of negativity, which then gives which makes a stereotype situations. I guess negativity sells, right? So the media talks so much. Have you watched Fox and CNN?
No.
Two total different.
Wow.
I mean, I watched it and I've sat there literally like this, rubbing my head like.
It'll make you frustrated because they.
But there's two totally perspectives. What I'm saying is,
from their perspective, they see things differently than we do because they haven't been through.
But I will also say, whereas CNN speaks a lot, and coronavirus is real, speaks a lot about coronavirus, which puts fear in in everybody. If you turn to Fox, Fox ain't talking like that. You have those in and outs where they talk very negative about situations, like the young man who walked up and down the street with a gun and shot 2 people dead.
Like he was a hero.
Now that, give me an effing break, right? But let's go beyond that. We got to get past our emotions and our feelings and really look at what the media is talking about. Hear me, right? Get past the emotion, get past how we feel about Fox, get past how we feel about CNN, either or, but look at both sides and see how they're communicating to the world. And if you are paying attention, you will be like, yo, it's 2 totally different worlds out here, which is causing the division that's happening amongst everybody who's in reality.
I actually throw this at you. And it's just funny. Now you sit back and just think about it. You got 2 different classes of white people fighting against each other. And we just have to be in the middle of it.
Right.
You have your elite, and then you have that non-elite, and it's classism. They're fighting each other, and we happen to be in the middle of this battle because it's sad because I hear what you're saying in Charlotte. I had a problem when I done been pulled over. I had 3 encounters being in Ben Salem. I was walking down the street. Cop pulled up to me and said, "Hey, where you going?" So I'm going to my house. He was like, "Where you live at?" I said, "For what?" He was like, "I need to know where you're going." I said, "Do you need the address?" "I can give you the address." I gave him the address. He was like, "How long you been staying here?" I said, "Dude, you asking a lot of questions for somebody who just walking." I said, "I ain't bothering nobody. Ain't nobody around me." Because I'm in a neighborhood that is not many of us, period.
Right.
I got pulled over. I come to a 4-way stop sign. Cop told me to go in front. I was like, okay, because he beat me to the stop sign. You know, when you come to the stop sign first, you go. The minute I turn, I get pulled over. I was like, so what you pulled me over for? And this is what happened. And I ended up calling my wife and put my wife on the phone. So I just wanted him to hear the whole conversation, just in case. He was like, well, our records show that somebody in this car don't have a license. What?
And you're by yourself?
Yeah.
What?
I said,
somebody in this car don't have a license. Wait.
I said, so I
You
said,
have a license?
how did you get that? He was like, we just ran your license plate. And it said
In 2.3 seconds. In 2.3 seconds, mind you, you just turned and they wanted your license. Like, what?
And it said somebody in there.
Stop playing with my intelligence.
Somebody in my car.
They don't know who it is, but somebody.
That's just the craziest stuff I heard. I was like, are you serious? They tell me that you said just running off my license plate. You notice this car ain't got no tinted windows. And you telling me that it says that somebody in my car. I was like, that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard.
Stop playing with my intelligence. Stop it.
And it was a gone conversation. They had bought the paddy wagon, and I was because now I'm resisting because I'm like, you want my license registration? I give you all that, but no. First of all, tell me why you pulled me over again, because I want you to hear it, and you can even hear it over the loudspeaker of the other car, because I wanted them to hear it too. I was like, do you not see like how dumb it sounds what you're saying to me right now? Because you don't know anything about me. You don't even know who's in this car. But you can tell by just running a license plate that I was like, is the car tag suspended? Is it anything about his? No. Is everything up to date on this car? Yeah. So how you gonna tell me? I was like, you know what? I said, I don't even see why we're having a ticket. I said, dude, I'm going to Walmart. I'm just going. I'm just going to get some asthma, man. I didn't want no trouble. I said, both of these times happened at night. So it kind of made me, I actually moved out of the neighborhood just because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was, and I'm thinking like, man, this is a good area. And I'm like, nope. Did see a lot of us there. But then at the same time, I'm at a place that is not a lot of us there. So
I'll tell you, I'm always, listen, I'm gonna live in an area where I feel comfortable. Where I'm sorry. And I'm not gonna apologize for it. I told my children, racism, I've told them this from when they were younger, living in Langhorne. I said, racism is alive. It's called economic racism. They're gonna raise the prices in areas where they don't want Black people because they're gonna raise the prices so high. You know, maybe if you can afford it, then you're the elite. But they're doing it purposely because of color. Because they don't want Black people in here. Most Black people can't afford where, these areas that I've chose to live in, because I wanted my children to, and the reason why I lived in those areas, because I wanted my children to be comfortable in being comfortable to know that they're equal. Because what I did realize, because I've lived a lot of places, I've lived in Suffolk, Virginia, I lived in Chesapeake, Virginia, I lived in Charlotte, I lived in Pennsylvania. And what I realized in all of these different places that I live is that there was a divide between Blacks and whites, and some Black people are not comfortable speaking to white people. And I did not want that ever to be for my children. I need you to understand that when you're in a room, you can speak articulate and you can have a conversation with anybody that's in that room.
That's another problem. What you just said, speaking articulate, it is a problem when you speak proper English.
Absolutely. It's a problem with whom?
But at the same time,
where's the problem at?
No, because you get picked on because you do.
By who?
By our own kind.
Yeah. Oh, you want him to say?
But this is the funny.
I wanted to tell the truth because it's not a problem with. Let's be honest. It's not a problem with white people, right? It's the problem with Black people because all of a sudden now you sound like a white person.
Right.
I don't even know what that means.
No, because I always say English is English. I said I didn't heard of a such thing as proper English.
There's no such thing as proper English.
If we go to England,
Queens or the Queen's English.
They don't even talk that way. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
The proper English is in England.
Right. It's not the Queen's English.
But listen, don't get me started about history now. Listen, I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to stay nice.
No, you don't want to do that. Let's get in it if you want to get into history.
Because it goes back to slavery. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, the reason why we got the reason why I got teased, the reason why certain situations happen is because it goes back to slavery when you have Jim Crow and he says, okay, we're going to divide light against black. We're going to divide man against woman. We're going to divide this against that, right? Amongst our own race. So if that's the case, then here we come and you become educated and you are able to articulate and have proper sentences. Now our own kind have racism against each other. What's that? You know what I'm saying? So, and then
because everything else failed. So this is the last thing. If we get them fighting each other, if I keep the liquor stores in the area and keep their mind toxic, if I throw the drugs in that area, they keep their mind off of being who they are. And that's the thing about it is, once you know who you are as a person, as your history, when you start, especially if you dig into history, you stand up a little bit stronger. You feel you have that pride of, I know who I am. And because it's funny because I am the only black dude in my section at my job. I get picked on because I'm from the South. If I go home, I come back, my country, hey, words come out, whatever. And I was like, my question is, do you understand what I'm saying? It was like, yeah. So that's called communication. Mm. That's it. As long as we communicate, we good. I don't have to be etiquette when I'm talking. I'm at work.
When you say you get picked on, who do you get picked on by?
This is by the whites. Trust me. They hate that too. I be hitting them back with Serena Williams. Them serves, them returns. But at the same time, though, you're gonna get picked on anyway because if you're a person who stands up, everybody does not like a person that stands up. Black woman, white woman, black men. If you stand up, what are you about to throw us out? You about to slam us into the desk? No, but it's you feel like you're a threat to them because wait a minute, this person knows something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they hate that because they feel like in their mind and where they was taught and how they was raised that we're beneath them.
So what are we teaching our children?
Oh, no. We powerful. We great. We above all things. We kings and queens. And you don't look down. Nobody looks down on you. You don't have to look down on nobody else. But at the same time, you respect one another. But don't ever let nobody make you feel less than who you are. Mm-hmm. Never. Because I didn't raise you that way. Because my dad didn't raise me that way. But then I end up becoming that way because of some of the stuff that I had to deal with. Because, again, people are threatened when you stand up. They hate that. So, yeah, I'm labeled as a troublemaker at work just because I speak my mind. And that's coming from actually, I hope he on. Because I actually got a manager that actually say I don't listen.
So you showing them you listen.
I listen. But it's just some people just don't like people to stand up. That's why I guess everybody wants to be more of not the Malcolm X, but more of the Martin Luther King. Just take this beating and keep on walking. Nah, I'm more Malcolm. I'm more militant. I'm crazy militant now. So I teach my boys. And it's
I guess my question is like for police officers with the right? Obviously, we're aware. I would say I'm gonna take away the word militant, right? Because
in other words, they take it and they think that we're being anti-American. Oh shit.
We're more aware.
Yeah.
Right? So then, how does that approach? What does that approach look like when you're in the presence of officers?
It's funny because now, when I do, I haven't been pulled over in a while, not trying to get pulled over. The last time I did it, I was speeding in Virginia, and a state trooper pulled me over. And as soon as he pulled me over, I threw my hand. Yeah, that was me. I actually rolled down the windows. I had the keys in my hand, and I had both hands out the window. And he was like, "Put your hands back in the car." Nah. Too many of y'all shooting around here now. He was like, no. I was like, I just want to let you know I'm not a threat. I just want to let you know I'm not a threat, because if the keys is out of my car and you see both hands in it, you see the keys in my hand, that means I'm not running. I'm not trying to resist. So we can get down. I was like, I know I was speeding. I was like, you know, trust me, he got me going. I was going a lot faster than what he gave me, but at the same time,
Alex Samuel is writing a lot. Can you
yes,
let me know what Alex Samuel is saying? Because he is putting it out there.
I mean, hey, Alex, you need to get on here, man. Cause you put it out there though. But no, but it is true though. But I mean, is our community helping us deal with the certain situations? What is, because all my parents was telling me to be respectful to one another. Just be respectful to people and they respect you. Now it's like they don't even respect you at all because of this whole climate of this political climate got some people come out of the closet. Like I was scared to say something, but now I'm gonna say what I need to say to you and how I feel about you. It's like, you hate me for what? You don't even know why you hate me. You know, you were just raised to hate me and you still don't even understand why. I said, but if I throw some history at you, you get all mad and get all quiet and be like, what, that ain't what I learned in school. Because, you know, true history is not in school.
Right.
Real books. And I mean, it's funny because I went to Jerome for advice. Hey, Jerome, actually, Necole, she was one of the ones I did ask a bunch of questions to. And she did point me out to some interesting, you know, books to buy, especially Dr. Ben. I actually bought a Dr. Ben book because of Necole. Thank you, Necole. You don't even remember?
No, I remember. It was all about education.
But that's the thing about it. Are we really educating our kids, or are we just allowing the system to educate our kids wrongly?
I educate my kids.
It's funny how she said it though. It's kind of behind.
Look, that's funny. That's funny.
What about you, Tracy?
I do sometimes. I think mostly though, especially at this stage in their life, I've let the system educate them wrongly. Yeah. But as of late, I have been trying to have more conversations about, you know, history and you know, the past or whatever. But yeah, I'm guilty.
No.
I'm putting that on myself. I'm putting it on myself. Not that other people may put it on me. I put it on myself.
I wouldn't. I don't know if. I think if I had to go back, maybe I wouldn't have been so, because like I told you, I'm two spectrums. A militant one, and then I got the non-militant one, right?
It's hard to balance that. It's hard to balance that.
It is hard to balance that because I get nervous when my militant child go out in the house, because I'm like, where you going? What you doing? What you about to do? What's wrong? Like, stop it, you know. But I gotta let her be her and find her space. So, no, Tracy, don't downplay it, because I don't know if I should have. Because even when they were growing up, Trayvon Martin didn't happen. It happened right at the end of their high school. Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner. Yeah, Eric Garner and the gentleman
in Baltimore.
Yeah, that was right at the end of school. I can see his face, but I can't see his name. But Trayvon Martin, I think that was right at the end of their school. But I started early with them, but I think maybe I shouldn't have, because maybe they're a little too militant. Because I get a little nervous with my daughter.
No, because they have to be that way, especially now.
Awareness is everything. So they must, if nothing else, being aware.
Yeah.
And about the history and about the things that we meaning our ancestors have gone through, and the fight that they had to make to get us to where we are now, and even some of the rights that some people just take for granted, not realizing, you know, the struggle that you know, people fought, people died, people were beaten, arrested, you know, whatever, for us to have these certain rights that some people just take for granted. So being aware is key.
Tut back.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what I would do if I had boys, if I had a son to raise in today's society, because I'm so scared for young African American men, young boys, males growing up now.
When you say you teach from history, what history do we teach our children?
So for me, and that's funny that you say that. For me, I went and this is the first book I read, Breaking the Psychological Mind of Slavery. So that was the first one I made my daughters read, to just break the mindset of slavery, and then of course understanding, breaking the curse of Willie Lynch was another one. That, and mind you, see these are books. It's not Audible. Paper, right? Like we were reading in the household. Because I think like the first one, Breaking the Chains, is a psychological slavery, and understanding, breaking the mindset. Right now, I'm reading the book called The New Willie Lynch, but that's through Audible. And I literally had to stop reading it because I was like, this is deep. And I had to set my mind, because I need my daughters to understand it as well. The new Jim Crow.
Right.
That's the book that I'm reading now. I'm sorry. King Tut is back.
People pulling out books and stuff.
Right. It's the education of the Negro. Yes. Yeah.
Who's the Negro?
Now how we're being taught, and then we go off to college and then don't come back to the community. If we do come back to the community, we come back to the church, but we only come back to the church just to get that appreciation for what you did versus actually, you know, but it's like we're being taught not to love where we've come from. So
yeah, because I mean, I'm not to cut you off, but if you stop and you think about school and education, like they're not teaching about, they never taught in the school that I was about Black history at all. Like at all. Like if you think about history, and especially in our generation, for all of us, I think we're all about the same age. They talked about Christopher Columbus. Now, if you think about it now, you don't hear nothing about Christopher Columbus because they realize, oh, he was crazy. He was doing like, think about it, y'all. Remember, we used to have Christopher Columbus Day off.
Yeah.
It's not off anymore.
It's not Columbus Day?
Why? What did he do that was so good?
Because of what he did coming over here and the way he
Oh, you ready? Nicole.
He's like, I'll wait.
Nicole, no, nuh-uh.
He said what he did coming over here.
No, Christopher Columbus didn't. I'm gonna tell you this. For one, he discovered nothing.
He discovered something that was already here.
Not only that, he was not even the first European to come here. And
right.
He wasn't.
I agree.
Before that, it was already people coming here way before that.
But let's go back. When we were in school, we were celebrating Christopher Columbus. We had Columbus Day off. Remember?
And then what if I throw Thanksgiving at you, and if I give you the Thanksgiving massacre, you probably won't do Thanksgiving no more either.
Well, I do enjoy Thanksgiving because that's when I do celebrate my family.
but it is history that what we're taught is more of a brainwashing to let you know a lot of the stuff that we celebrate are actually trying to cover up something that was bad.
Break down history. HIS, his story.
That's why we got to read these books so we can understand the real history.
History is his story, not our story, his story. Right? HISTORY.
He has no story.
There is no. They created stories to make us, to diminish us, and to build up others. And I'm gonna say, go ahead, Jerome.
What I found history to be is very revisionist. We always talk that we're not. Well, we always say we haven't been taught Black history, and I don't know what Black history is, but we are taught our history. We just misassume who it is. When they teach you something, because you have been raised to think that melanated people have not done anything great, melanated people have never invented anything, melanated people have never this or never that. When they tell you, they just tell you this group of people done something. You assume that they're non-melanated. You assume that because you haven't been taught properly. You know, even when they talk about the Greek society, you know, the Greek society was probably one of the first biracial societies in the world, but nobody's taught that. So, I mean, you know, it's a lot of things we misassume, and we just say, well, white people did it, because when you look around, all of your teachers are white. You know, those who run the school are white. And so everybody that's in a place of authority in your life is white. So naturally, when you hear history, you just assume that they're the same as the authority figures in your life. And so that's one of the cycles that we have to break. That's why when you look in the 30s and 40s, 50s, 20s, when you go back, the reason why Black communities were so strong were because the teachers were Black, you know, and the authority figures were Black. And, you know, and so they had more self-confidence in themselves. And so that's why they would build such strong communities with each other. But once integration hit, Brian's favorite time of the history,
one of the worst times that
we lost all that. You know,
I tell you, we lost the South. The South always won.
We lost the country. You know,
most people say it's the Civil War that the South lost. The South teaching us all the history.
It's revisionist history.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, to them, they never lost the war.
They did.
So, why are you allowing these people to teach you history is beyond me.
But if they do teach you any Black history, it's only American history. Only
it's only
United States history. Can I say that? It's United States history, not American history.
It's only 4 people they teach you about.
I'm about to say, who they teach about? Martin Luther King. Who else?
Martin Luther King.
The Civil Rights era.
Carver Washington.
60s.
With Peanuts. And
right.
We still talking about the 60s. It's like that's the only time they can actually see something.
Booker T.
They don't want to go.
Don't even get me started about Booker T. Washington. You better stop playing.
Why are you laughing, Tut?
Yo, why is Booker T. Washington an issue?
I ain't gonna say.
You know what? I want to hear that.
Yeah.
You live. I ain't gonna go there.
No, I want to hear it.
I'll let y'all.
We might be in agreement with you. We might agree with you.
Right. Let me have it.
Go ahead.
I know we off topic, but go ahead since you done brought it up.
Washington was Uncle Tom. You know, Booker T. Washington said we should go back to slavery. Come on, stop playing.
Well, I made his reference as to that's who they teach here in America. That's one of the figures.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, and of course they're gonna talk about him because his whole thing was we need to go back to where we were. Are you serious? Like,
I mean,
everybody can see Booker T. Washington as different things because you know he's in the museum,
right?
in DC, right?
He's a mulatto, though. You know what I'm saying?
But his theory was we should,
That's why
whereas Frederick Douglass was like, no, we need to be
right. That's why they had such problems with each other.
Right, exactly.
And W.E. Du Bois.
And, yes, W.E.B. Du Bois. So like really understand. Our history is deep. Our history is long. And everybody has a right to their own opinion, right? Booker T. Washington felt one way, and W.E.B. Du Bois, felt one way, and so did Frederick Douglass. Everybody felt different ways where we could go. Unfortunately, we were a group of people who were lost because we were pulled away from our roots to come over to a country that we did not know and separated. Oh, Brian is shaking his head. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, we always keep testing this subject.
Go ahead and open it up.
I tell you this.
Pop the top on the bottle, bro.
Yeah, open it up.
3 to 5 million came. That's it. But most of them went to South America. We was already here.
True indeed.
Say that again?
Mm-hmm. We was already here.
Say it again.
What'd you say?
We was already here. Us? We was already here.
No,
we
not
on
everybody
the
was here.
slave ship. We if our ancestors came here,
No.
they came here willingly on the ships. You got to understand, Egyptians was here. People from Kemet was here. It's been people, Mali, the Mali tribe was here. It's been ships. It's been documented way before Columbus and them said can sail here, was already back and forth here. That's the only way you can travel on a boat from West Africa to here is seasonal. It's no way, you can't even do that now. You cannot ship 15 million people here on ships.
No, it's documented it's documented that we came through the port.
It depends on who's giving you that documentation.
Right.
Hold on, let's back up because my last name is Sally, and the reason why my last name is Sally is because I had a general. There was a. I'm sorry, I had.
You would have that. You would have that.
But wait a minute, my last name is Sally.
I'll make a point, bitch. I'll make a point.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
My last name is Sally, Salley, John Sally, cousin. Yeah, Salley. And the reason why our last name is Sally is because there was a white general in South Carolina who took over, who had a plantation called, his name was Sally, Salley. And then he named us, he named my ancestors Sally because we were all on my ancestors on their plantation. And that's hence why the Sally name became what it is. Because we came through the ports of South Carolina.
I tell you what,
that name was given, but that doesn't mean that you was dropped off on that boat. Now that boat may have came through that port, but you may have been brought from Northern America.
We could have been brought over from over in Haiti. We could have been brought over from because you realize, right? That slave trade was everywhere. It went to Portugal, it went to South America, it was all over the place. So we could have been brought from all entities.
Well, I'm gonna show you some mathematics here, some simple mathematics.
That's
okay.
That's tough.
For example, you got a slave ship. Let's say a slave ship got roughly 300 people on it, right?
You do it, but keep going.
That's a high number. But I'm just I'm gonna give that high number just for estimation purposes. But okay, 300 people on a slave ship, right? 300 slaves.
Yeah.
Do the math. How many slave ships would it take to get 1 million people over here?
Right. A lot.
So
on a 90-day voyage.
Right.
Voyage.
So if they got that many slave ships, they brought over that many people. Where are the slave ships at? Where are any remnants of all of these slave ships at? And not only that, the people who were brought or supposedly brought here, we had already been here and we had language and everything. And they came here. When they came here, it wasn't an abandoned place. And most of the times, we often look at history, and history depicts the Mayans, the Olmecs, Aztecs, all of this. depict them as just vacating their pyramids and stuff. They was running, you know what I'm saying? They were ran out of there.
Spanish.
Yeah. So those Spanish conquistadors, they came through in heavy force. Now, I spoke with a young lady. I'm not going to reveal her name, but as soon as I learned her last name, I told her, I said, your parents didn't come over here on slave ships. She said, no, my parents migrated here. They came from different parts of the world. They migrated here. Their family history has no history of slaves. Mm-hmm. And that made me reflect on some things, because like I say,
my mother's.
Wait a minute, I take that back. Not everybody came here on a slave ship.
Right.
It's a small.
I agree, because my grandmother made it very clear. She wanted to make sure we understood we were not slaves on my mother's side. We were Indians. Mm-hmm. And she stressed it. Like, let me make sure my family were never slaves. We were Indians. That was on my mother's side. Now on my father's side, that's something different.
Right.
And everybody family like that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, the number that they say that we came here is smaller than what they want to tell us, because they need to keep you in a bondage situation and a bondage mindset. That's why the whole Civil War wasn't about what they say. It was about slavery. It had nothing to do with slavery. It had to do with classification. But that's a whole different story. But because I got to see it's Necole, she thinking right now.
Listen, I'm pulling up my stuff. But you're right.
But for instance, on my dad's side, they would say we was never slaves. We're sharecroppers. So it's a lot. I mean, we actually did some podcasts on what we were. And I mean, we go deep, but at the same time, a lot of us need to understand we're indigenous to this land. Mm-hmm. It's a part of you. Everybody is Native American. Everybody has an indigenous part if you're of color. And you probably do have African in it because we're descendants from Africa. Mm-hmm. But
I mean,
my bad. I crossed it. Go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, I keep it real simple. So if we were all brought over from Africa, right? Why has our name been reclassified so many times?
What do you mean?
Why would you have to be colored? Why would you have to be Negro? Why would you have to be
Negro, black?
Why would you have to be anything but African? If you was brought from Africa, you wouldn't have to reclassify the name. So they reclassified the name because the people that were already here were not African. And so you had to take away their name. Once you took away their identity, now you had claim to their land. Now you had claim to their benefit. So here's the thing.
Now you see why they hate us, because we're starting to take back what's ours. But go ahead, Jerome.
Here's an entity that you may need to study or look into: the Smithsonian Institution. You look into the Smithsonian Institution and you'll see how they have changed the landscape of our history. When you talk about, Brother Tut likes to talk about the Mayans all the time. Well, there's actually older Mayan ruins in Georgia than in South America.
Yeah. Right.
You know that there's the University of South Carolina has an archaeological dig in southern South Carolina, and they have a 50,000-year-old village, 50,000-year-old village that has, and the haplotype of the bones there are what you would call African, but they're Black people, and that's a 50,000-year-old village. So you're going 48,000 years past the time that you've been taught about, and so it's mind-boggling for people to understand history because they have no clue of how long we've even been here. And so Smithsonian, if you look at the Grand Canyon, they've closed off parts of the Grand Canyon back in the early 1900s because they found what you would call Egyptian pyramids, Egyptian temples in the canyons that the Smithsonian has closed off. So I mean, There's so much history that's rich for us. We just don't understand the time period. We don't understand the timetable of how long we actually been.
It's literally the other. It's like the Nile River here in America.
What?
A lot of people traveled up that route.
You know, they always tell you that Memphis sits on the Nile, right? But Memphis sits in Tennessee.
Wait a minute, we confused you, Nicole. You're just not feeling us right now, cause you.
No, I mean I hear you. You know, that's I hear you. You know, I gotta go and research some stuff. But now you're gonna have listen.
Like I said, don't believe me.
No, you know me. Because listen. One thing Brian know about me, I'm gonna have to go and pull up some books and pull up some history and start digging a little bit. I was going in another direction. Now I see you about to push me in another direction. Thanks, Jerome.
No problem.
You know, but if we get back to social injustice that's happening today,
right?
Because I think we obviously went into a rabbit hole because we could talk forever about history. But if we get back into social injustice that's happening today, I believe, you know, Black men are a threat to this world. I don't know why. I'm trying to understand the why. I'm trying to understand
the gatekeepers.
Fear.
You say why? What was the question?
Well, why are we a threat? Is that the question?
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand where. Because I have to go back to social injustice of today. Like we're talking about Eric Garner, who's selling cigarettes on the side of a store, which everybody sold Lucy's when I was growing up in Brooklyn. So I don't know what the big deal was.
Go ahead, Chad.
Trayvon Martin buying some Skittles and iced tea. If we go back to the little boy who's playing with playing with a plastic toy. What's his name again, Tracy?
Tamir Rice.
If you go back to the gentleman who was just walking away the other day, who got shot 7 times in his back. If you go back to Breonna Taylor, who's in her own house sleep, and you knocked on the wrong door, and then you killed her. Like, what is that all about?
You asked the question, why are we a threat? Okay, for example, let's say you own 10 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
You own this land, and you got people, you know, helping you till the land and working this land. And you find out that this land was given to you and it's not actually yours. So you know you got this land and it wasn't exactly handed to you properly. So now what are you going to do to keep that land? You know, so that is basically like an example of the culture here in America and white society.
Really? Do you think everybody is thinking like that?
No. Let me further explain. Okay, now the culture here in white America is they have ownership of it. Tupac said it. Everybody knows it's a white man's world. So the white man in his youth has taken over the world, and he don't want to let it go. And he gonna do everything he can to hold on to it. So a threat to him is anyone that can gain power or intelligence that could take that away from him. So that's why we're a threat, because when we can find out our histories, when we can get our money and our socio-economic status together, when we can unify and come together for a common cause, all of these things are a threat to their society that they have built up. So they're going to try to do everything they can to keep anybody from raising up that's going to break down their society they've built up. So that's why we're a threat. That's why Malcolm X said it. An educated Black man, it's America's nightmare.
He said it.
My take on that, I think my take is I don't know, I think it's a little more simpler. I look at it strictly by the numbers. I think that we are a threat because of the numbers game. There's a reason why they call you minorities. There's a reason why they say they're the majority. is because numbers. If you ever figure out your numbers, numbers is power. If you're in a democratic system, then numbers is power. You know, so genetics, and now we won't go into genetics, but genetics is big. Genetics is huge. Black men can change the landscape of America. Black men can change the landscape of the world. There's a reason why they keep you out of European countries.
They want you to darken it up.
Genetics can change the world. So that's a threat. I mean, why do you think they keep giving you this number, the year 2035? There's a reason why they keep giving you that number. And they want you to stay in fear. They want you to stay separated. They want you to stay, when we talk about social injustice is so much bigger than somebody just not liking you because you're of color. That, if you think that's what it is, then you know you haven't studied, and that's why you can be easily manipulated. You know, there's a reason why that the Black Lives Matter movement is run by white people. There's a reason for that.
Uh-oh, you see that? You see that face? Oh, I like both of their faces.
No. Now, what you mean?
Who they funded behind? Who's they fund? Who they get funded by?
He said run. So funding and being ran, that's different.
I did say run. Who's the NAACP run by?
I don't know, but I know Black Lives Matter was founded and run by two Black women.
Oh,
it was founded.
Whoa, that's what they told you.
That's what she said. I've seen her speak.
Okay.
It was a he.
Okay.
But you know what?
No more.
I tell you what, though, do you not see the look on that face when they drone stuff, man? I'm not getting in the heat with you on this one. I'm gonna let you ride this one out, man. I got your back.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. Always.
So you what we think it is.
So I what?
You don't even want to know my opinion when it comes to that. I don't knock what they're trying to do, but we have to understand.
What they trying to do, B?
What is black?
What they trying to do?
What no?
Before anyone answer that question, I want to say I have 13 minutes before my radio show.
I know. See?
So I've been trying to, get some music together and while I'm listening and stuff too, but I really have to go. What is black? Y'all answer that question. What is black?
I had a hard cutoff at 9 o'clock too, Trace. So.
Oh, they running.
Oh no!
I told you this.
We probably have to get it. But hey, it's out of respect. I understand. That's why
we moved it at 7.
That's why we started early today. I didn't think we was gonna get this much time, man. This is kind of.
So I was like, okay, let me keep working while I'm doing this one too. So, but yeah.
Well, go ahead and give your last words before you sign off.
I want to understand this whole black. Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy. You do your thing.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate the talk tonight. It's been great. I'm always honored to be a part of this panel. It's always fun. I always enjoy it. And again, Brian, anytime you need me, I'm there. I love y'all.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Love you too, sis. We'll be on at 9 o'clock on Tracy's World.
Tracy's World, 9 o'clock. Bye.
All right, we're gonna answer this question and we're gonna let you go. All right, because I know you say you actually got something to it. What is black? Black means actually for us, nothing.
So when they say Black Lives Matter,
they saying it because this is where you have to understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you stand in your truth. Stand in your truth. Standing in your truth. You got it on your ears. Mm-hmm. Black is just a color. Are you black?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you black? Are you black?
Of course.
Brown. Or you melanated?
Brown. I mean, we brown.
Now, you have to go back into the 1600s to understand why black and why white was created. It's a social distance.
Right.
Back to the 1400s.
Well, we're going back to 1400s? Oh, my bad.
Yeah. You can go to Spanish Inquisition, and you'll understand why it all started.
Color means nothing.
Color means nothing. Color means nothing. Color. Sorry.
I mean, but I understand what you're saying. Black lives do matter. Our lives do matter.
Right.
But let me ask you this. So if we're all human standing in a room and I have to tell you Black Lives Matter, what does that really mean?
I'm only asking because I'm not one walking around with a Black Lives Matter shirt on.
I got you.
I mean, I understand the cause. I'm not against it.
I understand the cause.
You shouldn't have to verbalize that
and
for other humans.
Right, I understand the cause. And when you look at the facts of what's been going on, you know, African American men have been targeted much more than any other race, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you just look at the facts, it's there, right?
Facts. So, I love facts.
Right. So when the whole Black Lives Matter thing came out, you know, I'm like, okay, okay, you're right. We matter. Yeah, we do matter, right?
True, we do.
And now deeper into now with all of the situations that have recently happened, you know, people are screaming Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And you're right. How are they being funded? I don't know. I don't know how they're being funded. It could be a white company that's funding.
But look who they upset with it.
Huh?
Billionaire.
The classification, who's being upset and who's not upset about it.
What do you mean?
We're kind of like meat that's getting thrown into watching two different type of lions fight.
What, the Black Lives Matter? I'm gonna be honest with you. Have you seen this Antifa group?
They're funded by the same person.
Same person.
They're funded by the same person.
I'm gonna tell you, Antifa, what are you doing?
Crazy.
They're funded by the same
You're nuts.
person.
And unfortunately, with this Antifa group, it kind of meshes. Have you seen? And it's a black man who's like the leader of Antifa. If you haven't paid attention, and that's how they got meshed into Black Lives Matter.
That's not how they got meshed. They meshed because they funded by the same person. Regardless,
I'm not down with the whole. If you want to come out here and cause chaos, I'm not a part of that.
And that's why I keep saying you have two classes fighting for power right now.
But let's go back. Antifa is, if you have seen the group, predominantly white people in Antifa.
Exactly.
Again,
wearing masks.
Exactly.
It's a war between them, and we're just the meat that keep getting thrown in.
But who's educating the masses? Who's educating the masses to say, hey, now some people that are in these protests are like, yo, what are you doing? We ain't down, right? But these Antifa groups are out of control.
Well, they all fight against the government. They don't like government rule and government control. And so they all fight against government control. And some of their fights I agree with, some of their fights I may not agree with. But
I can't agree with the hostility, because you're not going to get anywhere. I'm going to be honest, like I heard the sister speaking about, you know, you're lucky we burning down buildings versus turning around and burning it down. I get where she was going. I understand, like when she broke down the Monopoly analogy. I don't know if you saw her. I liked her. She's very smart. But I do not agree with burning down. I don't agree with burning down businesses.
I say burn it down.
I don't agree with burn down, and I'm gonna tell you, this probably gonna cause all kind of ruckus, and we only have 6 minutes. I don't agree with defund, because when you say defund the police, what do you mean? Because no one has came out and truly said, what are you talking about? Because I can tell you, and I live in neighborhoods where, you know, police. I live in neighborhoods where I feel comfortable, but I could talk about neighborhoods where you need police officers, right. And they need to be in the neighborhoods because we don't know how to act.
So you're saying defunding means that we get rid of the police?
Nah.
When it first came out, no one defined defund the police, and I was like, "You tripping? What are you talking about?"
But it ain't talking about getting rid of the police. It's about giving the police all this money because of the respect they have for the people that they serve and protect.
Well, look, I look at it like this.
When the money was being distributed, were we at the city council's meeting when everybody was voting on the money?
Right.
Where were we? Now all of a sudden, everybody's, hear me, I'm not saying the police should be coming out with pepper spray and gas masks and turning on everybody. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's okay. But what I'm saying is, where were we when the city council meeting was going on, and we should have shown up and be like, wait a minute, hold up, pause. What you doing with this money? Because they have to bring it to the board. Everything has to be brought to the board for it to be passed. And we were asleep.
On this money.
Huh?
Fear is the reason why they keep getting this money.
Hey, but let's look at this though. He says fear is the reason why they're getting this money. But let's look at this. We talk about defunding the police. It ain't like the police get a lot of funding anyway.
They do. Yes, they do.
Well, I mean, what it is used for. Now they get a lot of funding.
That's the question.
What I'm saying, they get a lot of funding off of drug busts, fines from people, tickets, all this. But they reuse that money in buying vehicles, vests, whatever their tools or resources are. But defunding to police, defunding them is not going to stop anything. If anything, police are paid less. They ain't even paid that much.
I agree.
I agree. She said defunding does not mean the police won't be around.
True.
Right.
But also, what King saying? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I look at it from this perspective when they talk about defunding the police. I think it's demilitarizing the police.
Right.
That's what we should have said.
If you look at we look at it from where we are in our rural county or rural country. We don't think about it from like where Brian's at in the big city. Why do you have a tank? Why do you have flamethrowers? Why do you have grenades? You're inside of our country.
Don't need for all that, right?
Yeah, we're inside of our country. And see, when you militarize the police force, you have to be trained for war.
Yeah.
So then when you're pulling people over, they're not suspects, they're not citizens, look at they're combatants. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you pull somebody over, it's like they're a combatant because you've been trained for war, but you're not trained properly for war.
And I think I agree with you, Jerome. It's demilitarizing. Then that's what we should have came out and said.
Right.
When you came out and said defund the police, you made a divide.
Words are divisive. You don't think
words are divisive?
You don't think that these people that use these words are not using them specifically for that purpose?
But no one stood up. So for all of, and I said this when George Floyd died, right?
Right.
We had all of these protests.
Right.
And my debate or argument was, and now what?
Right.
What are we asking for? What do we expect? Exactly. And from that, I heard defund the police, and I was like, you're bugging.
All right. Let me throw this at you.
I got to walk away. There was no order. So there was
You asked a question earlier.
I'm sorry.
And you saying, why are we a threat? Or why are the black men a threat? Think about the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
How many black men did they kill?
A bunch.
Now, because of what? They was empowering us to be bigger than who we are.
Right.
We believe
we figured out how to survive without.
Who speaks for us on our behalf now?
Huh?
Who speaks on the behalf of black people now?
No one.
That's why we're a threat. Because you found a way to cut the head off the snake, and now
they cut the head off the snake when they killed Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Huh?
They cut the head off the snake when they killed Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Oh, they did mega.
That was the whole reason of killing them. In which, if we go to Malcolm X, it was brothers from Newark.
But at the same time, what you think they did? They took away Martin Luther King because he switched.
He did switch. He was switching, and he had a poor because he was about to start a poor people's movement in the United States prior to him being killed. He absolutely switched because he saw what was going on, and he was fighting for poor people. And it was like, oh no, this brother has lost his effing mind. It was
people. Who are your poor people?
Everybody.
No, and we understand he was about to unite a bunch of people. His movement was about to be humongous. To the fact is that elite group cannot have that.
Right.
I told you it's about the numbers. Once we figure out the numbers, that's where the power is.
Right. And so here come Antifa, and Antifa's like, okay, let's because it started out Black Lives Matter, and then all of a sudden here come Antifa, and now you merge these two together, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a part of them. Because you do have the middle class African Americans. I consider myself a middle class African American who say I can't be a part of this Antifa wildness. I'm too old for that.
Right.
I can't be down with you. You bugging. Like there's another way to communicate. You think punching somebody in the face, punching somebody on the right is the right way to go? Like, yo, you bugging. I can't do that. Nah. There's other ways to address the behavior. There's other ways and so now there's nobody to bring us together.
Right.
So we're scattered everywhere.
And that was the whole point.
Right. That was the objective. And,
that was the whole point.
Right. The old saying, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when we're tied to so many different factions, we're tied to this faction, we're tied to this job, we're tied to something other than our blackness and appreciation for each other. And those ties to other factions, they all keep us divided. So to where somebody will stand behind a faction instead of standing behind their own black people or their own consort, like we look at it often from the black perspective, and we look at it from things we've had to deal with and things of that nature, and it's hard for us to see the other side. You know what I mean? And just like for some Caucasians, or it's hard for them to see the other side. So the division of us not being able to communicate and come to an understanding, so it makes it easier for them to divide us. Because they come at a united front, they ready to stand behind each other, love, hella right, you know what I mean? So that's when we got to do as a people, we got to start like uniting and stop letting our ties to these factions break us apart, because that's the division that's causing between us. And so as long as we're divided, and even religious beliefs, that's one of the strongholds. Many people are Christian, and if you don't accept Jesus, they don't want to fuck with you, and that's the biggest hypocrisy I ever seen before in my life, and so the ties that we have to these religions and all these factions, they tear us apart, and so we can't even unite.
That's a weak mind that does that. So if you are weak, then you allow the division to come through.
The majority of people are weak-minded. We live in America, where we're one of the dumbest countries in the world. The majority of people are weak-minded.
Then we choose to be that way.
They don't choose to be that way. It just it is what it is, because they have a lack of interest for intellect. I was just speaking to a young girl. She was saying, "Man, we come here, we do the same stuff every day, and people, they don't even pick up on mundane activity that you do every day, and they're not even observant enough to see." How some things may vary, or see, well, this is what may be required. And I made the joke to her. I was like, well, they got to fill out an application that say they got to be a rocket scientist before they come here, because most people, the majority of people, they don't have good sense. They don't have common sense. They don't have intellectual sense, so we live in a dumb world. I mean, I say a dumb country.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I hear you what you're saying. But we gotta educate. I don't know. I can't.
People go along. So when a movement is created to make people cater more to intelligence, then it'll grow that way. Just like I watched a little show, I'm pretty sure y'all might watch it, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Episode, two guys getting together on that, man. I had to turn my head, you know what I'm saying? But what that does, you can't watch a TV show now to where there's not a gay aspect to it. So this is what's being promoted, and people are making it accustomed to be, express themselves sexually how they feel. Now that's what's promoted on TV. Now think of if intelligence was promoted on TV the same way that we get sex, drugs, violence, and sexuality. You know what I mean? So intellect is not being promoted. Even in school, to be smart, you kicked out and talked about as being a nerd.
Yeah, you're right.
So intelligence in this country, intelligence is not looked upon. Don't nobody want to be intelligent. And then when somebody intelligent does arise, guess what they do to him? They vilify him and make him crazy and say he's crazy. Mm-hmm. So when they vilify him and say he's crazy, other people are not even gonna pay attention to him because they take that same assumption like, oh, he's crazy. And so they don't even take 2 cents. They don't even take two minutes of time to even listen to it or gain insight. Right. So that's how they vilify it. So they dumb it down to where everybody wants to just go along and be accepted into certain groups. And the intellectual group, I mean, like intellectual rap artists, they never make it nowhere on the charts, Right. And even I used to rap, and I would try to kick little jewels in my raps. And one of my homeboys, he told me, he was like, "Hey, look, you dropping some intelligent stuff, but don't nobody want to hear that shit." I'm not,
Right.
Yo, right. I know. Wait a minute. I know we got Miss Necole past her time. I'm gonna respect your time. All right, I'm gonna respect your time. And go ahead and get your last words, because I know this last 30 minutes been a roller coaster for you.
No, I mean it's just a great conversation. That's what it's all about. It's about conversation and kind of understanding.
If you ever want to talk about history, just let us know. We'll jump on that.
Yeah. I already see. Yeah, I haven't read up on history in a little while because I've been doing some other stuff and educating myself on some other things. But yeah, I could see from the history perspective. I love it. I love the fact that you're educated Black men, and I pray that we're passing that education on to our youth. So that they can carry on and represent themselves as the kings and queens that they are, because they're not going to learn it in a school system. Right. So we just got to make sure that we continue to educate our the next generation that's coming up, and make sure they're well diverse and knowing who they are. So it's been a blessing. I've enjoyed this conversation. This conversation has been fantastic. Mr. King, Mr. Jerome, and Mr. Brian, I've had a fantastic time just having this conversation. In my mind, I was like, you know what? I kept looking at the time like, do I have more time? Like, I could keep going for another hour here.
We definitely do appreciate it, though. We definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I pray that you guys are always lifted and protected as you walk into these streets, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know who we're going to come into, but whoever we come into, I pray that we walk into the Spirit of God, and that your spirit and their spirit meet, because one, if it's in the Spirit of God or Allah or whomever, whatever we follow, that one thing God always preached was love. Right? And that you are received with love. And even if you're not received with love, someone is there to protect you, and God has a protection over you, like Brother King spoke about, and the sister who stepped in with you, and the police officer, that God is always protecting you with love. Right? And always remember that everybody has their own, and I'm about to step off, but everybody has their own journey. White people, Black people, males, females, Hispanics, they all have their own journey, and they all come into this world with hurt, with love, or whatever, and then they interact with someone else, and they bring that energy into the space. So always have that in your mind, and knowing that there's a miseducation of someone, right? Because what I need you all to do is live. I don't need to see another Black man die or another Black sister die. Right. And I know it's that male ego where it's like, yo, I'm a man. Who are you talking to? Right? How dare you walk up in my space and talk to me any type of way? But what I need all you Black men to understand is that we need you to come home. We need you to come home. So if it takes to take a humble pill to walk away from that situation, and you mad and you got to punch that steering wheel because that mother effer treated you some type of way, then do that. Because the reality is your child, your wife, your significant, whoever, your mom, your sister, your cousins wanted you home.
Facts.
Right? So don't allow anybody else hurt or energy to take you off of that ego to say, who the F are you talking to? Because I need you to remember, we want you home. Because without you, our foundation is broken.
Powerful.
Much respect, much respect.
Powerful.
All right? So
I like that.
Take that away.
Oh, Shay.
That's my brothers. Okay?
She just dropped it.
I love all of y'all.
Appreciate it, sister.
All right, much respect.
Queen.
Thank you.
You're queen.
All right.
All right, Tut, get your last words in, man.
King Tut representing the South, man. You know, I'm talking these 5 letters, you know, so I just want to say much love and respect to everyone who participated, shared a little time with us. As y'all brothers know, you know, we live for this, you know. But one quote I do want to say, and Necole made light of it, we do want to try to live. But what we have to understand is that we are at war. And in war, often when you go to war, if you're looking to die, often you win. But if you go to war and you're looking to try to save yourself and protect yourself and you're worried about dying, often you get killed and lose. So I think we have to be able to shed or balance, you know, the situations and circumstances on our life, you know, because sometimes there are times when we got to go to war and it's time to risk your life. And sometimes it's time to sit back and survive for another day. So be wary of those decisions, man, because one decision can cost you your life. So, you know, just be conscious of that.
Hey, my bad. Go ahead. I was listening to Tracy's show. So, no, I'm listening. I'm hearing you, but I'm like, I'm talking, but I don't hear nothing. I'm like, shit, they don't hear me talk. I got all myself on mute. But understanding who you are. And like I said, Tut always he always instilled in my head is know thyself. Understanding who their inner man is. Because again, I mean, we wasn't knocking out Black Lives Matter. The fact is, Black has no meaning, no power, no nothing. That's what we're trying to make you understand. So you walk around yourself calling yourself Black. No, I call myself indigenous. Or you want me to call myself a melanated being. We're human. Color is nothing but a divider. Period. I guarantee you slice us open, we just have one more chromosome than they do, but at the same time, hey, it is what it is. We're the protectors. We are the guardians of this planet. And that's what we're here for. The problem is,
did you just say we got an extra chromosome?
No, did I say it wrong? My bad. Did I say chromosome?
Yeah, yeah. Nah, we don't got no extra chromosome, but okay, yeah. Hey, what, he making a rap video? We can't hear you, Jerome.
But Jerome ain't saying no. But see, that's why I love.
He must be on the phone. He must be on the phone.
Oh, man, I forgot I was muted. I said we got 46. I was saying 46, B. My bad.
But at the same time though, is respect. This all you have to do is walk around with respect.
Right.
And that's all we need to do. Respect, and you respect, you show love. That's what happens when you respect somebody. You should actually show them love and appreciation. So I appreciate my brothers being on again. I appreciate the ladies that are coming on. Hey, I just appreciate Tut just doing what he doing right now.
Yeah.
So, hey, but again, it's the three-headed monster on my end. Jerome, take us out, man.
I
on
really
Facebook, take us out on YouTube.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, check us out on YouTube. No, I was just gonna say, hey, it's always a pleasure, man. I won't be long. You know, I'm ready to do it the next time. Hopefully we get a little deeper in history. I got something for you, B.
Yeah.
Civil War.
Hey, yo, Jerome, did you check out that book I told you to check out? I sent you a text message too.
Did you? I'll look back over it.
I can send you the link to the book so you can have a digital version of it. But
do that.
Both of y'all, I want y'all to dive into that, and we need to have a panel on that topic. Because I think a lot of people need to be raise their awareness, because most people are directed mostly at the Christian aspect, and I think that book gives a Catholic vice versa aspect looked at some things, and it can give a lot of answers to some people.
Okay, definitely. Send it to me.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Hey, I'm out.
All right, fellas.
You still muted. You muted.
My bad. I'm sitting here looking for Tut because I was getting ready to fuss a Tut. Like, I ain't got no link, but then I'm sitting here looking at the link. All right, peace out, y'all.
All right. Peace.
Peace.